you ever needed a lesson in tricking people, Meghan Markle just gave it to us on a silver plate. In a move that has left even her biggest supporters shaking their heads, Meghan has now made herself look like the ultimate truth teller. Yes, the same woman whose story changes more than a soap opera is now asking everyone else to be honest. She really went on record saying people should tell the truth about her, and she wasn't joking. She said it with a straight face and real seriousness. Meanwhile, she's out here telling stories so crazy that even Netflix wouldn't show them unless they labeled them as fiction. Now let's talk about that famous Father's Day video. It was supposed to look heartwarming and nostalgic, but instead, it made more people raise their eyebrows than feel warm and fuzzy. The video was meant to show her family life and put an end to all the rumors, but instead, it probably did the exact opposite. People quickly noticed some strange things, like how many Archies were in this video exactly. One clip showed a kid who looked totally different from another. And don't even get me started on all the lies. If it wasn't so serious, it'd be funny. The real surprise? It looks like the royal family might finally be done being nice. Sources close to the palace are now whispering that they might do something big, like removing Archie and Lilibet from the line of succession. And if that happens, it's not just symbolic, it's war. And Meghan, with all her drama, didn't see this coming. She's spent years pushing boundaries, bending the truth, and messing with people's views. But even she didn't expect the royal family to push back this hard. And you know what? They might really do it this time. Let's rewind for a second. Remember when Meghan said she was like a prisoner in the palace? She said she couldn't even get her passport, driver's license, or car keys. She painted royal life like she was stuck in a tiny cage, but people did the math. She took trips to Asia with Elton John, had a baby shower in New York, secretly went to Canada, and visited Italy, all while she was supposedly trapped. If she didn't have a passport, how did she rack up more frequent flyer miles than a famous DJ? And here's where things get even crazier. Meghan is now saying that the royal family knew she didn't actually carry Archie and that they were all in on this huge cover-up. She's not just saying her pregnancy was fake, she's saying the palace helped her lie. She's saying they were part of it, helping her stage the biggest royal hoax in decades. This isn't just a desperate attempt to get attention, it's a huge accusation. And what's wild is how she's getting bolder and bolder with these claims. Like that podcast moment when she dramatically said, "I just want people to tell the truth about me." That's rich coming from someone who's had multiple fake social media accounts, dodged product deliveries, faked pictures, and even claimed her dad was dead when he's still very much alive and trying to make up. This woman even had 28 producers quit her Spotify deal. And even Oprah, yes, Oprah, has quietly moved on. And still, here she is, doubling down, dropping what looks like pre-recorded hospital footage during the pandemic to prove she gave birth. But the timeline doesn't make sense. At that time, hospital rules were super strict. Partners couldn't even be in delivery rooms. But in Meghan's world, the facts always shift to fit her story. This is just the beginning, because the palace, they're done. And this time, they're not keeping quiet. Meghan's biggest problem isn't just that people are catching on, it's that she keeps underestimating how many receipts the internet has. She once claimed she had no control over anything, but somehow she managed to coordinate Netflix scenes, designer outfits, and camera angles that made her look perfect enough to fool Vogue. That Father's Day video, for example, it wasn't just badly timed. It was full of recycled Netflix footage, awkward edits, and some people even think it might have shown another royal's child. People have pointed out how one baby in the video looks a lot like Princess Eugenie's son. And when the editing is that sloppy, it starts to look less like a nice story and more like she's trying to cover up something. But the real mess came when Meghan suggested that the palace knew all about the fake pregnancy, the fake bump, and the staged photos. She's saying they not only tolerated the lie, but they helped her keep it going. It's an accusation so big, it could completely ruin what little relationship she has left with the royals. But Meghan says all this like she's giving a TED Talk, as if the royal family made her lie. The message is clear. I didn't want to lie, they made me. What's hard to ignore is how often her stories don't match the facts. For example, in her Oprah interview, Meghan said, The press never asked her to pose for the usual post-birth photo. But people who were close to the palace say that's not how it went down. Meghan allegedly said no unless they gave Archie a title. No title, no photo. So when she talks about feeling left out, it feels less like a victim story and more like she was trying to get something out of it. And let's not forget how often Meghan plays the "they were racist" card without ever giving real examples. She says the royal family didn't want Archie to have a title because of concerns about his skin color, but she never says who said that, or gives a name, or shows any proof. She just drops the accusation and lets people guess. That's not telling the truth. That's planting seeds of doubt. Harry, for his part, seems stuck in this mess. He once admitted that he would have never left the royal family if it weren't for Meghan. And honestly, that explains a lot. Because even when Meghan says something crazy, Harry often looks like he's hearing it for the first time. He's either the most supportive husband ever, or he's realizing that he gave up his royal life for a PR disaster that's spiraling out of control. It doesn't help that Meghan's proof often backfires. Like when she showed that 2021 hospital video to prove she gave birth to Lilibet. But everyone quickly noticed the hospital didn't match the rules at the time. In California, hospitals were still following strict rules and no one was allowed to have visitors. Yet Meghan was walking around the hallway like it was a music video. Even Gayle King, one of her few remaining friends, was talking on TV about how devastating it was that her husband couldn't be in the room for their baby's birth because of the rules. So how did Meghan film in a hospital hallway with a full crew and no mask? People are tired of asking that question because every time they do, the answer changes. That's what's making people turn on her. It's not a smear campaign, it's the frustration of trying to keep up with stories that fall apart as soon as you start paying attention. And now, with the line of succession in danger, this might be the last time Meghan gets to control the story, before the monarchy decides to cut her off completely. There's a storm brewing in Buckingham Palace, and Meghan's recent moves might have pushed it into full-blown retaliation mode. According to rumors inside the palace, they're finally ready to do something they've been talking about for years but never actually did. They might remove Archie and Lilibet from the line of succession. Not tomorrow, not later, but fast-tracked and done. And it's not about revenge, it's about survival. The royal family, no matter its problems, is all about its image and legacy. Meghan, she's become a huge problem for that. What really made the royals snap wasn't just the fake pregnancy rumors or the bad video edits. It was when Meghan hinted that they were part of the lie, that they helped cover up a fake birth. If people start believing that the palace covered up a fake birth, the damage will go way beyond her. It'll ruin everything the royal family is built on. The monarchy is based on rules, tradition, and legacy, and if people start thinking it's all fake, the royal line will lose all credibility. And the family will never let that happen. Royal experts are saying what many people have whispered for years. Meghan overplayed her hand. The royal family gave her space to adjust to royal life. They tried to make it easy for her, but instead, she turned every favor into a reason to complain, and every chance into a chance to build her brand. They gave her a title, and she turned it into a global business. They gave her privacy, and she sold it to Netflix. Now, after pushing every benefit to the limit, they're left with one option: cut her off before she brings the whole royal family down with her. Even Harry, the once loved spare, isn't getting the protection he used to get. People say the palace is starting to handle him differently. They used to think he was just in love and maybe a little tricked by Meghan. But after watching him go along with her wild stories, people's sympathy for him is wearing out. His relationship with his brother William is barely hanging on. And if Meghan keeps acting like this, the palace might decide the only way to protect Harry is to separate him from all this chaos instead of letting him keep going along with it. There's also a new kind of pressure coming from the public. People are asking real questions now. Why are there so many versions of the same baby at similar ages? Why do they look so different in official videos? Why is there almost no real video of Meghan pregnant in public? Why does Netflix use so much blurry footage and shadows? Why does it all feel like a trick? The more people dig, the less they find. And that's making everyone even more suspicious. Meghan once said she left acting to serve the royal family, but what career did she really give up? Suits ended, and her film career dried up. If anything, becoming royal gave her the only real spotlight she's had in years. And yet, she still says she's the victim of a system that gave her way more than she ever deserved. Now that system is ready to take away what little she has left. The line of succession is not just a set of rules, it's the backbone of the monarchy. And if Meghan thought she could stir up trouble while keeping her kids in line to become royals, she didn't understand anything about the crown. The palace has been holding back for years, but now that leash is getting really short. And when they finally make a move, Meghan will have no one left to blame. Not the media, not the staff, not even Harry, only herself.